smell apples? Do you smell apples? Do you smell? Oh, we got a treat. All right, guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. We are in the kitchen, and boy, it's a homestead kitchen. We got stuff slung everywhere. Honey, we got apples slung everywhere, as they say. Got the large roaster out. I want you to see that. That is almost an entire bushel of peeled, chopped, cut apples. You can see here that I've got remnants of where I used my apple peeler, and then some of these I just cut by hand real quick, just whatever works for that particular apple. So if you're interested in one of the peelers, they work really well for fresh apples. If somebody gifts you apples, or your apples are a little bit older, you might want to think about doing them by hand. Just because they get soft in the center. They start getting soft in the center, and it's hard for it to rotate on the peeler. But this roaster is the bomb, people. I have given away one in my premium group, and I'm going to be doing it on Patreon. Woo-hoo. So, but nonetheless, this is the large Oster roaster, and you're looking at almost an entire, look here, an entire bushel of apples. I had about 4 that were too soft. I mean, it was beyond repair. I was like, no. And I've actually saved about 8 to help feed the goats for the next couple days for some treats. But you're looking at an entire deal. I put a little bit of water in here. My goal right now is to simply cook it on low, let this start cooking down, let the apples start doing their thing. I haven't added anything other than some water. So, you know, people always ask me, how do you make applesauce? How do you make apple butter? Do you add sugar? What do you add? Well, I have my own way. Everybody has their own way. Your granny had her own way. You have to develop your own style. But I'm going to tell you, regardless of how much sugar you like to add, and what type of sugar particularly, do you add white sugar, or do you also sprinkle it a little bit of brown in there? Do you like cinnamon? Do you like cloves? Do you like nutmeg? Do you like red hots? If you're making apple butter in particular, develop your own style. I'll show you what we do. But right now the goal is to cook the apples down. Now I may start with just tonight, I may just can applesauce with this, okay? And then tomorrow, which we'll add onto the film, I may do apple butter, because I've got 2 bushels of apples. See, I need 2 roasters. Now if you don't have a large roaster, you can do this in crock pots. I would have 3 or 4 crock pots going at one time. It's totally manageable. Before I figured out the whole crock pot action, I would do it on the stovetop, just like I would do pear butter on the stovetop. So it's totally doable. The goal is to get apples you enjoy. The goal is to peel them, core them, and put them in. Now, some people will say, what type of apples do you prefer for these things? I like sweet apples. I am a Mutsu girl. These are actually wine saps that are in here right now. I like them too. I like all apples for different reasons. But, you know, I would probably not go with a Granny Smith per se. I'm going to go with something that's a little bit more sweet. Say, Golden Delicious. Mutsu is my favorite. If you haven't tried the Mutsu apple, it's a Japanese variety. It grows very well here in East Tennessee. You need to check that out. It's good stuff. All right, so this is not rocket science. We're just going to cook the apples, and it's already smelling good. So, fall is here. All right, guys. Now, here is what we're looking like. I was cooking the apples. I turned them, once I got them really starting to cook and produce juice with a little bit of water, I cranked it up a little bit so it would continue to cook, and I turned my lid, and then once it really started going, I turned it back way down, and look what we've got going on here. So you do want it to cook down. You don't want it to scorch. Basically, I'm going to continue to let this cook on low. At this point, I have decided tonight I'm going to go ahead and make apple butter. And let me show you what I'm going to do. Now listen, you're going to say, well, how many cups of apples per cups of sugar per? Folks, I don't do any of that. Nobody in my family's ever done that. It is, the real reason being is because depending on how you're doing this, you're never going to be 100% exact, because I might tell you a lot of times you're going to see in the ball cannon book like 15 to 20 medium-sized apples. Well, what's medium to you may be large to me. So I'm just not going to, I don't sweat the small stuff, folks. I simply go by taste. But let me tell you the secret items for my apple butter. Now, I've changed it up some over the years. It depends on what you like. I do add a little bit of ground cloves, not a lot. This will offset the taste of your cinnamon, okay? And I'm going to be adding cinnamon. So listen to me. So you're going to have the cloves. Some people add this, some people don't. I mean just like a boop, 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 just a little splash. I do add white sugar. Now, I have in the past added brown sugar. Probably won't this time, okay? I will just keep mixing it up, and I will add just regular old. You can do organic if you want to, however you want to. I will then come back with it, and I will add cinnamon. I'll just splash some cinnamon in here. And then I'm going to tell you the real kicker, though. The real kicker is red hot cinnamon candies. I am very generous with this. It will darken the color of your apple butter. It may make it more of a ruddy red tint to it. That is okay. So once this all cooks together, I simply go by taste test. I like my apple butter rather chunky. Now I'm going to blend it, and I'll get out a potato masher here in a minute, and you'll see me doing that, or I may get the blender a little bit and I may blend it. But I like mine thick, and I like it chunky, okay? Brass monkey, that chunky monkey. I don't like watery apple butter. It's just not my preference, okay? You just go with it as you go. All right, so we're going to start throwing these things in here. Continue to let it cook together, and I'm telling you, your house will smell like Christmas. Okay, guys, it's getting late, but so you saw me add the sugar, you saw me add some cloves, or I did that, and I added a whole bunch of cinnamon candies into the actual roaster. Once I did that, I started mashing. You did see that. Now we're going to do a taste test. I've actually turned back up the temperature a little bit, because what I want is I want those candies to start melting. It doesn't take very long, trust me. So what I'm wanting it to do is get some more heat, get it kind of bubbly, get it kind of going, and then I'm going to taste it. Now, I have added about 5 cups of sugar, which really for this big of a mess of apples is not a whole lot. I kind of pre-tested it in terms of a quick taste, and I was pretty pleased, but let's just test it and see. It's dark. You can see it's a good mix here. Still a little bit chunky, so I may come back again one more time. Got a few candies that are still melting, so it does need a little bit more time. But here we have it right here. I don't know if you can see it, probably not. It's got a slight pink color to it, so you should expect that. So if I add a little bit more cinnamon, if I add some brown sugar, it will darken it. If you definitely add nutmeg and more cloves, it will definitely darken it. So I just test it. Probably going to add just a hair more sugar, maybe another cup. And I may throw in a few more cinnamon candies. I know, it's not rocket science, guys. I tell people all the time, they're like, show me how to make apple butter. Oh my gosh, your apple butter. I'm telling you, it's just going with your instinct. It's learning to adapt it, going with what you like and what your family likes. Throw those candies in there. It'll make it really good. You're going to water bath, okay? You need to decide how large of a container you want to put these in. I put these in pint jars. I can my apple butter in pint jars because you will find this is a tremendous present at Christmas time. All of my family begs for my pear butter or apple butter at Christmas time. I very rarely have a lot of apple butter by the next year. It goes fast. Let's get going. All right, guys, so we have our apple butter made, okay? So we're going to slam through this next part of the video. I encourage you to get, let me grab it, whoop, whoop, hold on. You want to get, whoa, right there, Ball canning, you can get that particular book in the canning section at your local Walmart. It's like $7.97. You know how they do that? $7.97, rolling back, whatever. It's going to teach you how to do your basic canning, okay? One of the most basic things that you can learn to can with is apple butter. Why? Because you're going to do a simple water bath procedure. Now, I don't do anything smaller or bigger for my apple butter. It just works out great for gifts to do a pint jar. According to the ball canning book, you want to put this in there and you want to can it for 10 minutes. Check your elevation. I always let mine go for 15. So you're going to have these are really warm. They just came out of the dishwasher. So we're set up and ready to go. I have my rings clean, ready to go. And my actual lids, brand new lids, are in hot water. They're not boiling, but I do like to get them in some hot water. I'm old school on that. They say you don't have to do that necessarily anymore. I still like to, maybe it's me. So anyway, you're going to have your funnel. You're going to place it in there. You're going to have a 1/4 inch headspace. No big deal. And we're going to start scooping apple butter, guys. Okay? Now, I have used some of this apple butter. Eating it. I know it gets dark over here. And you're going to be putting this in here. Now, I don't like runny apple butter. I like thick, like I told you before, kind of chunky monkey apple butter. But I want you to see what this is looking like with the red hots. You see how that color is in there? That nice pretty color. So what I'm going to do simply is I'm going to bring this up here, settle them down to about a 1/4 inch headspace. Woo! I'm going to take out the air bubbles. Doot, doot, doot. I'm going to place my lids, place my ring, and then I'm going to put them in the water bath for me for 15 minutes. And I got to move to the groove like sandwich bread because I don't want anything to cool down. You want to get these prepped, ready to go, and put over into the water bath, which is heating up, before they get cool, because you don't want to have a disruption in your temperature. So I'm going to move on. We're going to move. Okay, so you can see I've got a little bit of a mess. So you're going to take this, you can use a spoon, end of a spoon, and you're just going to run it in there, guys, and you're going to get the air bubbles out. I just go back and forth a couple of times. It may settle out a little bit for you as well. Now you're sitting here saying, gosh, that looks messy around the top, the rim of the jar. Yes, you are going to want to wipe these down really good. I use a clean paper towel or 3, okay, and dispose of them. You want to really wipe your jars really good before you put those lids on, okay? So I may have to put a little dollop or 2 in these, because when you start to move the air out, as you can see I'm doing, it does settle. So know that you need to work with that, but you got to move to the groove like sandwich bread. Can you hear my water canner over there? She's getting ready. She's moving along. Look at that color, though. Is that not beautiful? You know what it reminds me of? Natural, beautiful coral. It really has almost like this really pretty natural coral. Is not that bright, intense red sometimes that you see. It's kind of got this hint of just this soft, muted color to it. So pretty. So pretty. Oh, Patara, help my soul. All right, so that one's a really nice chunky one right there. All right, we're going to just top them off a little bit, work with them, wipe them down, and get these going. Got to get water bath going. All right, guys, everything is in there. Super hot. Be careful putting the lid back on. When this comes to a rolling boil, I'm going to set it at 15 minutes, not far from it. So always use gloves and precaution. And when it's done, I will pull it up, pull the rack up. I'll have gloves on, of course, my mitts. Pull the rack up and let it sit. I always let mine sit for a few minutes just to kind of cool a little bit before just taking them plop right out. That way you don't tend to have cracks as much, okay? So this has got to roll with it. Let's go. Okay, so this is what I've got left in here. Probably looking at 2 more pints. So less than a bushel, quite a bit. You know, I had 8 to 12, whatever, so apples of a bushel Plus, we have eaten some, okay? I have been dipping out and doing all kinds of things with this and put some to the side. You're looking at about 2 more pints remaining. So, a lot of people ask me, how much do you think you're going to get when you make apple butter out of an entire bushel? It's going to vary, guys, because the size of the apples mean everything. But I'm going to be modest, and I'm going to say that you're probably easily, and somebody can counter with me here, that's fine, you're probably going to get modestly anywhere from, say, 12 to 20 pints. Again, depending on the size of the apples. So be prepared for that. So a bushel or around a bushel here, you're going to run your water bath twice. Okay? You're going to have a good 8 and then probably up to another 8. Just go ahead and we'll just kind of squirrel that and eyeball it and go with it, right? That's right, but isn't that pretty? I know it. Where's the biscuits? I need some biscuits. All right, guys. I actually ended up having 3 extra pints. So 1 is going to go in the fridge. Would you stop that, you silly girl? She wants apple butter. What I'm going to do is put 1 away in the fridge for now, for me to enjoy over the next couple of days. And I'm going to deliver 2 to Fred, old Fred, along with some fresh duck eggs. These right here are not canned, so I'll make sure he knows that. And the reason I'm not worried about it is because when I give him apple butter, like I do every year, he eats a whole pint in a day. So this might make it to the weekend, maybe not. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope your fall is beautiful and going great for you. Get on those apple butter making sessions, and don't forget the Red Hots. They make a beautiful, beautiful apple butter. Y'all take care out there.